In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your combination switch, which is this one right here, controls your wipers, turn signals, and high beams. Take your keys, put them in the ignition, turn it to the on position, and then use a pick, go through this hole here, and you're going to have to find the little pin that locks in the ignition cylinder. There we go. You want to push on this pin right here. That's what you're aiming for. And as you push, you want to wiggle this, slide it out, and well, eventually it should pop free. I want to remove these trim pieces that sit around the steering column. Unthread the steering wheel adjuster lever. Next, there are 3 Phillips head screws that you have to remove. There's 1 on the left side, and then there will be 2 on the right side from underneath. Now you can take this lower half and remove it. There we go. Pull out on this and drop the steering wheel down. Now we're gonna have to take off this trim piece right here. So grab it, pull out on it, slide it up and out of the way. Might have to shift this. There we go. And now we can remove this upper steering column trim piece. Next, with a T20 Torx bit, you're gonna have to remove 2 screws that are here and here. One at the top, one at the bottom. That's what holds this combination switch in, and this is part of the hazard switch. And the hazard switch is part of it too. It's the whole assembly here. Okay, take this one out, set it aside safely. Now pull this switch out. We'll have to unplug it. There's a connector at the top. I'm going to use a pocket screwdriver, pry up on this tab, and push this out. There's another locking tab for it underneath. So I guess you'll have to pry from both sides. And then same type of locking tab on this one here, also on both sides. Okay, let's try to pry out on this one. There we go. There's your combination switch. Take your new one and reconnect the electrical connectors. The wires don't go very far, so it'll be a little tight in here. But just try to line them all up. Make sure they click. You don't want these to come undone after you're done reinstalling everything. There we go. Now let's bolt it back up. I'm going to start with the top screw because I can see it better. That way I know it's secured. Okay, before I tighten it all the way, I'm going to put the bottom one in. That way I can move this around and line it up. And now we can snug it all up. Don't make it too tight because these are small and they will break. Okay, there we go. Now if you want to, you could give it a test before you finish buttoning everything up. Now it's time to reassemble the steering column covers. I'm going to take the top one, slide it up and over the shifter, and bring it down into position. If you need to move the steering wheel up and down, you can either grab this and pull it, or if it's too difficult, which most of the time it is, you can just thread the little rod back in. But you should be able to line it up. Make sure it lines up with the shifter boot as well as with the hazard button, and over here as well as the ignition on this side. There's a lot of things that need to line up. Pull on this, bring this up. Okay, there we go. That's situated itself a little bit better. Let's put the lower cover on. Try to make the two line up. And they do have little clips that snap in, but they're not very strong, so it won't actually lock in until you put the screws back through. So the passenger side is lined up. I'm going to put one of the screws in just so I can secure it in place on this side. Otherwise it'll keep popping off when I try to line up this side. put in this screw over here. And now the last one, which is all the way over here. Let's put the lever back in place, the steering wheel adjuster. Make sure it's bottomed out all the way, nice and snug. Of course, test it out. Yep, works just fine. Now we have to put back this piece up here. So put the shifter down, and this has to kind of slide into place, and then it just clips right in. There's no hardware that secures it in place. Make sure it lines up so you don't break the clips. There we go. Push it. This doesn't line up. There we go. Put it back in park. Give it a couple taps to ensure that it's secured. Now you would take your ignition switch, make sure it's facing the right way. This little detent pin at the bottom. It also has these grooves here that need to line up. Press it in all the way. As you can see, it doesn't come back out. That's how you know it's locked in. Shut it off and pull the key out.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.